Hey, what's up? It's Hutton from Outkick 360, outkick.com, and here with a preview for championship weekend. Last weekend delivered. Divisional round, the best we've ever seen, pairing all four of those games together. My reasoning, my pick on the Titans, did not deliver. The Bengals move on to face the Chiefs. KC advanced. Let's face it, they advanced because they had the ball last or first in overtime. And in the NFC, you've got the NFC West matchup for the NFC crown, LA hosting San Francisco on Fox. Let's start this week's preview and thoughts on the games in the AFC Championship. It is really hard for me not to pull for Cincinnati. They're very likable with Burrow, Chase, Zach Taylor, Bengals fans. I mean, I'd love to see them advance and head over to LA and play in Super Bowl 56. I'd love to see Burrow become the only quarterback other than Tom Brady to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. But it is hard to find a statistical or analytical reason why or how Cincinnati wins this game. The obvious reason is the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. The other obvious, though, is for Cincinnati to keep up, they've got to do some things that they've been unable to consistently do well over the course of the last 2 months or so. That starts with, over the whole season, protecting Joe Burrow. They haven't done that, still haven't done that. They've got to finish drives. They've only done that a little bit. And they have to run the ball well. Joe Mixon has not been the same type of player over the second half of the season and through the first two games of the postseason. They did those things at times, all those things at times in the regular season, but they're not playing Baltimore, Pittsburgh in this week's matchup. KC at playoff time cranks it up to a different level. And Cincinnati's offense, while they can do that, over the last 8 games, we have not seen that same type of explosion. We've seen it some. We saw it against Kansas City. We saw them put up 41 points against COVID Baltimore late in the year. But over the last 8 games, if Baltimore, they put up 41, the other 7 games, they averaged just 22 points. This Bengals offense is not on the same level as Kansas City right now. And there are areas to point to back that up. Yes, the Bengals won that game head-to-head against the Chiefs in January. So there is a way to talk yourself, for me to talk myself into picking Cincinnati with the upset. I just think they have to play a different game Sunday than what they did in Week 17 against the Chiefs. They've got to run the ball with Joe Mixon, and they did not do that 4 weeks ago. And they haven't done it well, really, over the course of the final 7-8 weeks of the season. They've got to do that because they need Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. He's 63 for 83 throwing the football over the last 2 weeks. He has 780-plus yards, 8 touchdowns, just 1 interception in these playoffs. The regular season issues seem to be a thing of the past, and that elite offense that Kansas City has grown to expect, it's back just in time. And they're about to go to their 3rd straight Super Bowl with a win over Cincy. The Chiefs, they had a very bad first quarter against Pittsburgh in the wild card round. Since then, they've been virtually unstoppable. They've scored 84 points over a 7-quarter stretch since starting the second quarter against the Pittsburgh Steelers a couple of weeks ago. Cincinnati, I don't believe, can turn this game into a make-it-take-it game. In Week 17, Burrow and Jamar Chase and that offense, they made it a sprint. Burrow had 450 yards passing. Jamar Chase had, 265 yards receiving. They still only won that game by 3 points. And it was a walk-off field goal, last-second field goal. Now it's playoff Chiefs, what I call payoff Chiefs in the postseason. You cash your checks and you lay the points. In the playoffs, they're averaging exactly what the spread is in this game. They're averaging 7.5 yards per play. That is 2 more yards per play than what Cincinnati is averaging. And the Bengals are known for their explosion. Mahomes has only been sacked 5 times in 2 weeks. Burrow's been sacked 9 times just last week in 1 game. And he's really sacked 11, but 2 of the plays were blown dead even after he took those hits. The Chiefs have rushed for 144 yards per game. The Bengals aren't even close to that. They're averaging about 75 yards a game rushing. Joe Mixon's got to be an X factor. And going into this game, he's got to find success on first down. He was money on first down during the regular season. The Titans did a nice job against him and the run game a week ago. He's going to get a ton of first down carries. he's got to set up Cincinnati's offense. And by doing that, he will keep things, the Bengals keep possession, they run clock, and they stay ahead of the chains. I think that's crucial in all this. You can extend drives and get those 9, 10, 11 play drives and then cash in the red zone. And they've got to pair that mix and play with another key from last week and something we expect from Cincy. And those are the explosive plays. No team in the NFL this year had touchdowns that were for 20 yards or more or 40 yards or more. They led the league in both categories. They led the league in just plays of 20 yards or more, 61 of them. They only have 8 plays, though, in the 2 weeks of the playoffs of 20 yards or more. Kansas City has 20 of those plays. Again, playoff Chiefs. And again, a key to their success is the explosion. They've really struggled in the red zone. They hit the big plays, but they don't cash in on extended long drives routinely. Those struggles have to end at Arrowhead. They've got to extend drives, get to the red zone, find the end zone, and spread the ball out like we know that Burrow can with Chase and Higgins and Boyd. Jamar Chase, not much more you can say about his rookie season. Phenomenal. 266 yards the last time these two teams played came from Chase. 11 catches, 3 touchdowns. Amazing things. He's got to show out again on Sunday whenever they get in a situation like they did in Week 17 where you're trailing by a couple of touchdowns. Burrow and Chase need to connect. And defensively, Cincinnati has been among the worst teams in the league against tight ends. They've got to find a solution for Kelsey in some way. The other major factor is the turnover margin. They're +4 through 2 weeks. Kansas City, early in the year, prone to big mistakes. They haven't had those lately. Burrow and company, they need a couple of extra possessions in this. And the Bengals defense needs to set them up with that. Hard to do, but it's a must to go on the road and win at Arrowhead. I'm pulling for the Bengals. My money is on Kansas City, and I'm laying the points. The Rams and 49ers is a different game. Both of these teams, good offenses. They both have great weapons, but the formula to victory in this week is going to be patience. The explosive plays, the highlight reel plays, I think, we'll see those. But I think the winner is the team that takes a slow and steady approach. Take care of the football type of game where the team that doesn't turn it over, that runs the ball at a better clip is most likely to win. And the 49ers have won both of these matchups this year, and it starts in the trenches. San Fran can run it, and I think LA needs to as well. They need to take the same mindset they did against Arizona and not the type of game plan that they took to Tampa Bay. They tried to run it. They tried to get Cam Akers going. He got carries against Tampa, but didn't have success. San Francisco will look to neutralize the Rams ground game and then tee off on Stafford, which is what they did in the final week of the season. Shanahan's going to lean on that versatile rushing attack. The 49ers had 31 carries for 135 yards in their victory over the Rams to end the year. They trailed by 17 and still ran the ball 31 times. They've got to have that same patience against the Rams defense. Wild card victory over the Dallas, 38 carries, 170 yards in that matchup. To end towards the end of the year, 37 carries for 175 yards and a comeback win against Houston. San Fran, the money downs for them are the rundowns. 2,400 yards this season on the ground. The Rams only have had 1,900. They don't have consistent rushing offense. I think the Rams have to stay patient. If they do, they win the game. The other key is Matthew Stafford. No quarterback in the NFL has turned it over more and paired that type of performance with amazing performances over the course of the year. And he's been awesome throughout this postseason. No turnovers. And he's been very efficient. He's completing 75% of his passes. He faces a solid 49ers defense. They believe they're the tougher team every week. Stafford needs to continue this solid play and not be the turnover-prone, turnover-heavy version of himself that we've seen at times throughout the regular season. And how about the wide receiver play in this game? Debo Samuel, the only player in the NFL with 1,000 yards receiving and 400 yards rushing. He's one of 7 players in NFL history to accomplish that. And he's just the 4th player since 1985 to pull it off. He has like 275 yards combined against the Rams this season. He's a fun player to watch. No better player to watch, though, than Cooper Kupp. No receiver in NFL history in this sport has put up a stat line like he has this season, because if you include the playoffs, he has over 150 catches and 2,000 yards receiving. No one's ever done it. And he's coming off his best game of the season a week ago, 183 yards, over 20 yards per catch. And yes, some of that is due to the final 2 catches that he had in the game, but we know he's the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. Can't wait to watch this one. Plenty of great storylines, even without Brady or Rodgers facing off like last year. I'm taking the 3.5 and what's going to be a great finish to the championship weekend. For more analysis on these games, check out Outkick.com. Armando Salguero has you covered with all the news and happenings around the league. We do as well. Outkick 360, myself, Chad Withrow, Paul Koharski, 3 to 6 Eastern across the Outkick network. Follow us on social media as well. You can find more links to football discussion. And we're on the road to Super Bowl 56. We're going to be out in LA with Fox in a couple of weeks. Me, PK, Withrow, Clay, Armando. We're going to be live February 7th through February 11th, all week, leading up to kickoff at SoFi Stadium. Enjoy the NFL weekend. I'll be back next week with thoughts on the Super Bowl matchup. Until then, hit us up on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Just search out Outkick 360.